Hey everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Good News. I'm your host Regis, and if you recognize my voice, you might be joining us from our other channel, Top Luxury. Shout out to everyone who started on Top Luxury and is now watching us here on Good News. In each episode, we'll be bringing you some positive news stories from around the world, in a hope to share some positivity and uplifting feelings. So, without further ado, let's get into it with 7 positive stories from all around the world. Amid the worsening effects of global warming and the ongoing climate crisis, it can be easy to think that the world is headed towards a dark future. However, the United Nations has recently announced that the Earth's ozone layer is currently on track to fully recover by 2040. The ozone layer is a part of the Earth's atmosphere that absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. You ever get a sunburn? That ultraviolet radiation there is what caused that. During the mid-1970s, it was discovered that the ozone layer was continuously being depleted by chemicals released by large-scale industries. One of these groups of harmful chemicals are known as CFCs, which were commonly used as refrigerants and solvents. The ozone layer's depletion posed great risk, not just to humans, but to the global ecology as a whole. So, in 1989, an international treaty that was drafted in order to protect the ozone layer and phase out the use of CFCs over the next few decades was put into effect. Today, thanks to the collective effort and decisive action of the international community, the ozone layer is set to fully recover given current trends. That's pretty uplifting if you ask me. Continuing on more good news about the environment, a 2019 scientific survey revealed that the amount of plastic waste found on Australian beaches dropped by almost a third compared to a similar survey that was conducted back in 2013. The researchers surveyed more than 180 beaches across the entire country and determined that initiatives from local councils and governments were responsible for this positive change. According to one of the researchers, they found that the beaches with the most significant reduction of plastic waste were those that had multiple initiatives and restrictions in place for maintaining the cleanliness of their beaches. Now, who would have guessed that, right? Some of these restrictions include installing bins for waste segregation, incentivizing residents for handing in plastic waste for recycling, and organizing regular community cleanup drives. A lot has changed over the past 2 centuries. We now live in a completely different world compared to our ancestors just a few hundred years ago. We enjoy proper sanitation, sewage management, and access to clean drinking water, among lots of other stuff like cameras, lighting equipment, and computers to be able to make videos just like this one. Back in the early 1800s, the average lifespan for an ordinary person was 35 years at best. Guess I don't have long left. With most people succumbing to common infectious diseases such as tuberculosis or pneumonia. Today, thanks to the advancement of science, technology, and medicine, life expectancy has actually doubled, according to the United Nations' latest figures. Quality of life may differ across different parts of the world, but it's an undeniable fact that living conditions across the globe have increased dramatically compared to what it used to be 200 years ago, at least. Birthdays are a natural cause for celebration. So when a baby chimpanzee was born in the Chester Zoo in England last December, much of the zoo's staff and personnel celebrated the event. Isn't that cute? Not only was this baby chimp an addition to the zoo's family, the newborn also offered renewed hope for a critically endangered species. The newly born chimp is of a subspecies known as the Western chimpanzee, often regarded as the rarest species of chimpanzee in the entire world. The Western chimpanzee is a species endemic to Western Africa and naturally found in countries such as Ghana, Senegal, Mali, and the Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire in French. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature classifies the Western chimpanzee as critically endangered, with only an estimated 20 to 50,000 individuals remaining in the wild. One of the primary threats towards the Western chimpanzee is identified to be habitat loss, caused by deforestation, pollution, and other human activities. Conservationists at the Chester Zoo were thrilled to welcome the birth of a baby chimp, saying that his birth is a small but vital boost to the species' dwindling population. Now, on a similar note, a group of Portuguese researchers have recently discovered a new species of owl over in the forests of São Tomé and Príncipe in Central Africa. The story goes that for more than 100 years now, residents of the island have reported that a completely unique owl call has been heard on the island, the sound of which has never been attributed to a known species. Spooky. Finally, in 2016, the very first image of this mysterious owl species was captured by researchers. By 2022, the Portuguese researchers have already extensively observed the mysterious bird and have confirmed that they were indeed a previously undocumented species of the scops owl. The new species was aptly named as the Príncipe scops owl. The researchers hoped that this discovery would serve as a reminder to the general public about the importance of biodiversity. Over in my country, on the American West Coast, an AI-powered monitoring system is significantly reducing the amount of whales struck by cargo ships each year. WhaleSafe is a joint project by different universities across the United States that aims to save endangered whale species from collisions with ships. The idea behind WhaleSafe is simple yet impactful. It's estimated that about 80 endangered whales are killed by ship strikes each year on the West Coast alone. WhaleSafe aims to prevent these collisions from occurring through buoys equipped to underwater microphones to record whale sounds. Makes me think of Finding Nemo. These buoys are scattered all along the American West Coast, around high-traffic shipping routes. An AI system then identifies the species and location of these whale sounds and relays this information to trained scientists that can verify the accuracy of the data gathered. Finally, ships that are passing through are notified of the presence of whales in their area and are instructed to either divert their paths or slow down. As of today, WhaleSafe is already deployed in Southern California, and its creators are hoping that their pioneering work can be replicated in different locations all over the world. Now, we are all familiar with the important role of bees as pollinators in our ecosystem, and if you're not, you should be. So it's all the more important to make sure that our bees are free from disease and infection. Just a few days before 2022 ended, the US Department of Agriculture approved for the very first time, get this, a vaccine for honeybees. The vaccine was developed in response to American foul brood disease, one of the most highly infectious diseases that targets bee broods. I didn't even know that was a thing. Before the development of this vaccine, the only way to prevent the disease from spreading any further was to burn entire infected colonies. Unlike conventional vaccines that are directly injected into a person, or in this case an animal, this new vaccine works by mixing it into a queen feed that is then fed to worker bees who in turn include the vaccine into the royal jelly. The queen bee finally consumes the royal jelly infused with the vaccine and produces larvae that are immune to the disease. The creator of this breakthrough vaccine, Dalan Animal Health, believes that their vaccine will be able to help in maintaining and preserving global food production by caring for our beloved honeybees. What do you think about all this good news from around the world? Let us know down below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Good News.